What is going on, you guys? I hope all is well with you and yours. Thank you very much for embracing my platform with your energies. That really does mean a lot to me. And also thank you for giving me a tinge of your time. I know that we'll never get time back. So the fact that you guys are opening your doors and allowing me in and listening to me forever, how long you may listen to me, really does mean a lot. Now, I'm not here to preach to any of you guys, so please don't run away. But I must tell this particular story because Source and or God has a very interesting way of showing us life through other individuals and showing us ourselves through other individuals. Now, with that being said, I ended up going to work last night, being my second night at this new job that I just started. I knew before I left the house that I needed gas, but I was too lackadaisical to stop and get gas last night, so I just ended up going to work anyway. And I made it to work fine. I get work accomplished and completed. After that, I ended up GPSing cheap gas near me, and they brought up several options. I chose the gas station that I thought was active, and I ended up going to get gas. So anyway, I get to this particular gas station that I thought was active, and I'm still thinking that is active because there's someone at the door with the backpack trying to get inside. There's a car at the pump whom I thought someone was pumping gas, and it was all lit up. So I circled the gas station a couple of times because I'm a little perplexed at why this guy is at the door for as long as he was and not getting inside. I thought that they owned the car that was at the pump, but come to find out they didn't, because the individuals who was in the car at the pump ended up leaving the gas station, which just left myself and which I assumed was some scallywag whom I was trying to work. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with what work means, I was basically trying to have sex with this individual. And I know that that is a fucked up way of thinking, but it's just that animalistic bullshit that happens. You know, I just thought that this was someone I was going to fuck with real quick, get my gas and go home. But it did not happen that way. Anyway, another car pulled up and I'm still, lingering behind so that I can try to work this individual. So I get out the car because I had a cigarette. Well, I have cigarettes in the car. I don't even fuck with cigarettes, but someone gave me some cigarettes for letting them use my cell phone charger. So I use that as an excuse to talk to this particular individual. Anyway, after that second car left the gas station, I walked over to that particular individual who was trying to get into the gas station, and I asked them if they had a lighter. They told me that they don't smoke and they don't have a lighter, which was cool. So I was getting ready to walk away, and I used the excuse, "Do you know where to get some G at?" It's really no excuse because I was really trying to score something. That's a part of addiction, unfortunately. Thank God the universe intervened and that person did not fuck around. I was so happy. Anyway, they were telling me about a gas station that was down the street that was open, that I can get gas at, and they can go get what they needed to get, which was some beer. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So they then proceeded to ask me if they can tag along. So, it's because it was a pretty long distance from, where we were. And I'm like, okay, nothing seemed suspect or anything like that. So I gave them a ride. We're talking, which the conversation was very interesting. They were explaining to me that they hurt their shoulder because they hurt their shoulder due to a skateboarding accident. They were telling me how they were in the military, how they're a firefighter, and just a lot of other different things. And I'm finding the conversation to be very intriguing. So we get to this other gas station, which is active. I get my gas. I ended up getting 2 beers, and they got maybe a 12-pack of beer. And we are on my way back to, which I thought was the gas station, but they ended up foreshadowing to me that they have their own home. I thought that this home was shared with some roommates or something, but it's actually their own home to themselves. So I'm still thinking in the back of my head, well, this could be an opportunity for me to, still work this man and have him. And it didn't go down like that. It wasn't meant to go down like that. And so anyway, they were telling me that it's okay for me to come over, drink beer, and hang out if I want to. So I'm like, okay, let me just hang out for a little bit, and drink a couple of beers and get my ass home. So anyway, we're on the porch of this person's house, and it's a pretty big house. And we're still talking. They're asking me about, relationship. Have I ever been in love? We talked about gay shit. We talked about racial shit. I mean, we were just talking. We were talking about his military life. Have he ever killed anyone? Have he ever been in love? Which he has, considering the choice of music that he was playing last night, which was country. No problem with that. It wasn't necessarily upbeat country music. It was more saddened type of country music, breakup type music. So I then proceeded to ask them, why do they like this particular song so much? Why are they constantly listening to it? And they were telling me about their girlfriend. And then this is an alpha male, alpha military firefighter type straight man, type straight man. I mean, so I knew my boundaries. I knew not to cross certain boundaries, even if we were talking about gay shit or not. I just knew my lane, and I stayed in that lane. Anyway, I knew that this person was hurting. I'm an empath. I feel sometimes entirely too much. I knew that this person was hurting in some form of way. And I didn't know that alcohol was their addiction of choice or their, substance of choice. But that later came out in another topic of conversation. So anyway, they were telling me that in a couple of weeks or so, they're getting ready to move to Mexico, and they're going to sell their home and whatever else the case may be. And they were telling me how they enjoy spearfishing, and they were asking me some of my enjoyments and shit like that. I mean, it was a really interesting conversation that I was having with this alpha straight male, and they were saying how they wanted to teach spearfishing. So I told them, why don't you create a YouTube channel and go from there? And they were like, that's a good idea. Maybe that's something I should do. And I told them that I have 3 social media platforms where I tell my story and whatever else the case may be. So they were like, well, what story are you telling? They became intrigued. So I told them that basically my social media platforms are my diaries to the world. I explain how I went through homelessness. I explain, past, present, and, hopefully future events that occurred in my life. I told them how I'm caught up in the matrix in methamphetamine, which they already knew, because remember, I asked them if they knew where to get some G at the gas station prior to us going to their home. So anyway, they knew that methamphetamine was something I enjoyed, but they didn't know that it was an addiction of mine. And so we're talking, and I'm getting deep into, my addiction and stuff like that. And so we're drinking beer, and they was like, cheers. And I'm, cheered them, and they was like, I get it, bro. Y'all straight men in that damn bro bullshit. But anyway, they was like, I get it, bro. I understand, because, basically alcohol is my addiction. I'm an alcoholic. And I kind of figured that because, they were slamming that damn beer, and they were self-medicating themselves for whatever particular reason. And I just started looking at my own self, and I'm just like, wow, addiction is really fucking real. And not only am I suffering, through my own addiction, but this person who seems like they are a really cool individual is going through their scenario. And it seems like we both just do not have anyone to talk to. And I felt like that situation was meant to happen, because that person, from where their home, where they live at, wasn't far from neither one of those gas stations, don't get me wrong, if you are on a bike or skateboard or whatever else. But if you are walking, that is a pretty good distance. So for that person to walk from their home to that particular gas station that wasn't open and then was getting ready to walk all the way down the street to this other particular gas station that was open just to go get beer, yeah, I mean, that definitely let me know how strong this person's addiction had a hold of them. Anyway, I'm just looking at why I'm looking at them and looking at the hurt that they're going through and feeling the hurt that they're going through. I started to get a little saddened because I grew up with alcoholics and drug addicts and shit like that. And I just seen through a lot of different stuff in regard to this particular individual. And I just felt for them. They are dying inside, literally. And, I knew that this person needed someone to talk to. Me being an empath, it doesn't take much for individuals to open up and just open up Pandora's box and just let me know some of everything in regard to their life. I mean, this person introduced me to their grandmother who lives around the corner from them. And they're so alpha. I mean, the way that they were talking to their grandmother, basically telling them who they're going to vote for and all this type of stuff. He's very headstrong. And I can see that military side to them. And their mother called, and I assumed that their mother has a very strong issue with them being an alcoholic, because I stayed the night because they offered me to. I guess they assumed that I was drunk, but I wasn't. I stayed the night because back in my head, back in my brain, I'm still thinking there could be the accomplishment of me having this person, doing something with them. So I ended up staying the night and nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. They ended up sleeping in their bedroom. I was on the couch, which I'm glad nothing did happen, because they are actually a really cool individual. They just have issues, just like all of us have issues. They just have to figure out a way to resolve those particular issues. Anyway, we get up. Well, I know that they mentioned getting up around 6, 7, whenever the gas station's open, to go get beer. And I'm like, this person is kidding. We're not getting up that early to go get alcohol. Yes, we did. We got up. Well, I didn't. I was still knocked out. They got up, and everything was cool. I thought that I thought the alcohol was talking a little bit too much last night. And so I couldn't sleep comfortably because I didn't know if they would wake up, sober up and be like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? Blah, 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 blah. So, but it didn't happen like that. Thank God. Anyway, they were like, you ready to go to the gas station? And I'm like, for what? And they were like, to go get beer. And I'm just like, oh, wow, we are really doing this. I didn't want to contribute to their addiction, but, I did it anyway. And we went to the gas station and got, I think, a 12-pack of beer. And that was gone just like that. I had a couple, and they definitely had their fair share. And, I'm seeing, I didn't even know, not to be telling too much of their business, but they ended up pissing themselves. I didn't even realize this until we went to the gas station and they got out of my vehicle, and I seen this big wet spot on their joggers, which they had on gray joggers, so the piss, you can see the stain of the wetness of, So I asked them, I'm like, why is your pants or joggers so wet? And they were like, I pissed myself, and like it was no big issue. And my thing is, you guys, I mean, aside from me looking at my own self, everybody is not meant to be worked. And, you can't have sex with everybody, and nor do I want to. And I shouldn't have even been thinking like that last night. I should have just, got my gas and went home. But it all worked out the way that it worked out. God meant for me to run across this person. God meant for me to see addiction through this particular person. And God meant for me to see my own self through this particular person and see my own fucking ways. And I absolutely love how everything went down. So to sum it all up in a nutshell, I ended up getting this person's phone number, and they're going to probably give me some things before they move, and hopefully we keep in contact and have a meaningful friendship. But aside from that, nothing happened. No drugs came into the picture, even though I am craving like crazy. I did come home, I did take my stems and my pipe, and I tried to get some residue out of it, but nothing happened, thank God. Unfortunately, this is a part of addiction, the cravings, the withdrawals, and I'm truly going through it. And I have no one to talk to, so I'm here talking to you guys, and I wanted to share that story with you all, because addiction is so real, and with the world the way that it is these days, if you're not into TikTok and Instagram, and if you're not doing all this popular bullshit, you're not being heard. And there are so many motherfucking people in this world internally that are dying inside and need people to talk to. And because everyone's minds are somewhere else, people are getting ignored. I can imagine the many individuals that have mental illness that need to be heard and are alcoholics and drug addicts and whatever else the case may be, and not getting the help that they need. Something has to change, you guys, because people are literally hurting in this fucking world, and they're being ignored, and they're self-medicating themselves however they're self-medicating themselves, and it's not right. These people deserve to have a fair life just like everyone else. They deserve to be heard, and they deserve to be loved and respected, and all of that stuff. You guys, all I can do is just pray for myself and pray for this individual and whomever else is going through what myself and this young man. And he's only 32 years old. That's another sad thing. I will be 47, but to be 32 and an alcoholic like that, but I don't live their life. I never been in the military. I never almost, killed someone. I never been a firefighter. I never had to save someone from a fire. I never been in a fire like that. Well, I have, but not a true fire where it's all gulped up in flames. And they're telling me about this stuff, and it's fascinating, the life that they live. But I can understand where the alcohol comes into play, and they're just truly self-medicating a lot of stuff. Anyway, you guys, pray for me, pray for this individual, even though you don't know them. Prayer is everything, and I'm doing good, even though I almost slipped up, and I could have gotten methamphetamine. I didn't do it. So I'm still, let me see, the 15th. What's today's date? Hold on. The 27th. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. About 2 weeks and a couple of days in that I have been sober from methamphetamine. So I'm still at the beginning of my journey, and it's hard, it's tough, but we're gonna make it, you guys. And so is this young man that I met last night. He's going to make it too. All right, I'm going to end this video, you guys, but I just had to share that story with you all. God has a very interesting way of showing us life through other individuals. All right, namaste, you guys.